Good afternoon, everyone. I hope you all are doing well this afternoon.
Good afternoon, Your Honor.
Afternoon.
Good afternoon, Your Honor.
Afternoon.
Good afternoon, Your Honor.
Afternoon. Who do we have first?
We're going to go with position number 6, Mr. Edmondson, Your Honor.
Okay. Good afternoon, Mr. Edmondson. I'm Judge Eric Morrow. This is the state court expedited accusation calendar that we're conducting by video to help prevent the spread of the virus. Do you agree to have your case heard by video?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Mr. Edmondson, you've been charged in case 23 CR 003655B with battery family violence. Is there a history, Mr. Howard?
6 total. Last arrest was 2022. Ag assault, hindering emergency phone call. He's on probation for the Ag 22 SC 182073. Got another probation for Ag assault 22 SC 181112. 2019 simple battery DV conviction. Criminal trespass NOLO.
Okay, thank you. Good afternoon, Mr. Jones.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. So this incident took place on May 19th of 2023 at 39098 Campbellton Road, Southwest Apartment D4. The victim, Taylor Newsom, stated that she was working from home and went outside, and the defendant, which is the father of her child, approached her as she was going back inside. Newsom stated that she told the defendant she did not want him to come in because she was working, but eventually let him inside of the apartment. An argument ensued, and the defendant held her on the floor and covered her mouth to stop her from speaking. The defendant then left with the apartment key, although he does not reside at that address. Officers observed scratches to Newton's face. Your Honor, you were just made aware of the first offender probation under the case ending in 112 and the 073. Both cases were for ag assault with the same victim of today's incident, and he was just sentenced of June of 2022, so a little over a year. Our advocate did have an opportunity to speak with the victim, and she stated that they are not in a relationship, they do not live together, and they share one child. She confirmed what happened in the warrant and stated that typically they use the third party aunt, which is the defendant's aunt, to transfer the kid. However, the victim was expecting the aunt to bring the diapers, and it was actually the defendant that brought the diapers. So she has not really had any communication with him. However, we are concerned for an intimidation of the witness, Your Honor. Just in his short brief arrest, the defendant has communicated 6 calls to the victim, in which 4 of them were actually communicated, and one of them, he talked about his bond and his probation issues, and just wanted her to kind of defendant stated that you have to be on that SHIT and don't miss the court date, as if he's trying to get her to change the story. He talked about how he was in a holding cell, and he wanted her to tell the court today that he was just bringing some diapers and need him on the outside to co-parent, stated that they love each other. And he also stated that he was going to man up to the incident, Your Honor. So for those reasons, the state's recommendation is a $10,000 cash bond, no further contact with the victim, and a stay away from 39098 Campbellton Road, Southwest Apartment D4, Your Honor. I'm not for sure if the victim is on, but if the court could sound for her at the appropriate time.
What's the name again, Mr. Jones?
Taylor Newsom, Newson.
I see a Ms. Newsom or T. Newsom on the line. Ms. Newsom, if you would like to address the court, now is your opportunity. You do not have to address the court, but if you would like to address the court, I will need for you to activate your camera, and I'll have to swear you in. Okay. Yes, ma'am. Can you raise your right hand for me? Do you swear affirm the testimony you're about to give before this court be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Okay, you can put your hand down. Yes, ma'am. What would you like to tell the court?
The phone call, it's just a form of communication and understanding. It was a misunderstanding when he was bringing over the diapers. We normally do exchange diapers and things like that for our child through the aunt. So it was just a miscommunication through the aunt. I guess the aunt didn't have a way at that time to bring them. So he just brought them on foot, and that's when everything escalated because I noticed that he wasn't supposed to be around in my area. So I just wanted the aunt to move forward with helping him do that, but it just didn't happen. And I'm not intimidated in any way. I'm okay. I'm not, easily intimidated or any of that. So just wanted to make that known and clear.
Okay, thank
In a
you.
relationship, the love is for our child. I mean, that's
Okay.
mhm.
Any questions, Mr. Jones?
Yes, Your Honor. Just very briefly, Ms. Newsom, I just wanted to confirm that you did, in fact, call the police to your house on this particular day, correct?
Yes.
And you called the police to your house because the defendant held you on the floor and covered your mouth to stop you from speaking, correct?
Well, yes, it wasn't on the floor, but it was, yes.
Okay. And the defendant previously pled guilty in 2 incidents that involved you, correct?
Yes.
All right. Thank you so much. No further questions, Your Honor.
Thank you. Ms. Wills?
Thank you, Judge. Mr. Edmondson is 25 years old. He is a native of Georgia. He is currently employed as a warehouse worker for CKS. He also works for Top Notch Personnel. He will not qualify to be represented by the Public Defender's Office. He does have one child, the child that has been mentioned with Ms. Newsom. My client does deny the allegations as alleged. He does state that he went to Ms. Newsom's home to bring supplies or money, something like that, for the child, and also to pick up his child for visitation. An argument then ensued, and he attempted to leave. When he attempted to leave, it was Ms. Newsom who became upset and then called the police. My client states that he and Ms. Newsom are engaged in individual counseling, as well as counseling to improve their co-parenting. And so I would like to request a signature on bond. If Your Honor is not so inclined, I would ask for a surety bond, the lowest amount possible. And we would also request a no further violent contact. But of course, if that is not permitted, it seems that there are adequate relatives who can assist in transporting the child for visitation.
Your Honor, if I may just briefly speak to that last point. The victim here was expecting the third party aunt to come, and clearly the defendant is using this as a way to communicate. And instead of just dropping off of the Pampers, we had this incident. So we believe that further contact between them or even with the aunt leads the risk of another incident. And as we see, it's getting worse and worse every time, Your Honor.
And Your Honor, I would just like to say that at this time, these are all just allegations. And so we have one side for Ms. Newsom, as well as what my client has presented and told me.
All right. It's going to be a 5,000 surety. No further contact with Ms. Newsom. Stay away from the Campbellton Road address, apartment D4. He can go back as far as the minor child goes. There's to be third-party transfer of that minor child. No drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond. Mr. Edmondson, let me make it perfectly clear that while this bond order is in place, you are to have absolutely no contact with Ms. Newsom. No phone contact, no personal contact, no internet contact, no social media contact. There can be no contact whatsoever. You'll have to use a third party to transfer your child for visitation. Good luck to you, sir.
How much was that?
$5,000 surety. We have next.
Position number 5, Barbara.
Good afternoon, Mr. Barber. I'm Judge Eric Morrow. This is the State Court Expedited Accusation calendar that we're conducting by video. Do you agree to have your case heard by video?
Sure.
Thank you. Mr. Barber, you've been charged in case 23 CR 003653E with giving false information to law enforcement officers, 2 counts. Is there a history?
23 total. Last arrest 2020. Possession of a firearm by convicted felon. That's open. You also got an open ag assault, possession of a knife or a firearm during the commission. It's 23 SC 187701. On probation, 21 SC 1799998 for the ag assault, possession of a knife or a firearm. Theft by taking, all told 4 counts. That's 12 SC, I'm sorry, 108740. 2014, they gave him 16 years probation for that. That's it.
Yes, Your Honor, if I may. Also, I did notice that there was also a conviction in 2001 and 2003 for giving false name. And the facts here on June 7th of 2023, around 6 p.m., officers noticed a stolen U-Haul truck in a parking lot of 4626 Washington Road. Officers made contact with the parties in the vehicle as they were unloading wood. All parties were detained, and the accused gave the name of Ricky Barber and a date of birth of July 7th, 1983. After being questioned, the accused finally gave his real name of Mario Barber and his real date of birth of 10/03/1979. Your Honor, for those reasons, we are going to request that the bond stay as it is, which is a $2,000 surety bond, $1,000 on each count.
So they were unloading. Why did the police approach them?
Yep. So the police noticed a stolen U-Haul truck, and they were unloading wood from the back of the U-Haul truck.
Oh, okay. All right. Yes, Ms. Wells.
Thank you, Judge. I guess I'm a little confused where the 2 counts came from. Is it because there's
The first count, I'm sorry, Your Honor, is for Ricky Barber, that name, and then the second is the date of birth. So originally he gave them Ricky Barber and then the date of birth of 7/4/1983.
And they weren't charged with anything else except for was anybody else charged with anything?
I do not believe so, but let me check, Your Honor, 1 second.
I'm sorry, Ms. Wells, I interrupted you.
No, that's okay, Judge. I just on the booking sheet that I received, I only saw 1 count of giving false information. And I've never seen the state split it in 2 for the date and the name, which I don't agree with. But my client is 43 years old. He is a native of Georgia. He is currently employed by Competent Self-Cleaning, where he is the owner. He has owned that business for the past 3 years. He will not qualify to be represented by the Public Defender's Office. He would like a signature bond in this case, so that he can tend to his probation violation. He's not going to get out until he resolves that issue. But furthermore, he is assisting his daughter and his grandchildren, is helping to support them financially at this time. So for those reasons, we would request a signature on bond.
Further, Mr. Jones?
The facts are silent as to if anyone else was arrested here, Your Honor. But again, given the defendant's violent past or his criminal history and the fact that he, again, given a false name was an attempt for given the defendant's history, Your Honor, we will ask that the bond remain the same.
Okay, it's going to be $1,000 signature bond through the jail for each count. Makes for a total of a $2,000 signature bond through the jail. No drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you, Mr. Barber.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Judge.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Ms. Williams.
Position 11, Simpson. Also was wondering if the Spanish interpreter came.
I don't see anyone on the line, so can we see if we're going to have a Spanish interpreter this afternoon? Ms. Grace or Ms. Champion? And I'm sorry, tell me again who this is.
Position 11, Simpson.
Good afternoon, Mr. Simpson. I'm Judge Eric Morrow. This is the state court expedited accusation calendar that we're conducting by video. Do you agree to have your case heard by video?
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. Mr. Simpson, you've been charged in case 23 CR 003648J with criminal trespass. Is there a history, Mr. Howard?
12 total. Last arrest was last month. Failed to appear. You got open shoplifting, possession of drug-related objects. All right, trespass, possession of drug-related objects. That's 23 MAGC 01014. 2021 trespass, loitering and prowling conviction. 2021 simple battery conviction. 2022, he was arrested a couple of times for trespass. Those were convictions. Loitering and prowling conviction as well. Giving false name and trespass. All right, that's it.
Thank you. Good afternoon, Ms. Bickerstaff.
Good afternoon, Judge. How are you?
Good, thank you.
Good. So this incident occurred May 28th, 2023 at 713 West Peachtree Street. And this is where Detective Barden reviewed camera footage from the MARTA bus, and he saw a Black male attempting to enter the bus without shoes on. And bus driver, Miss Carter, her first name is Wanisha Carter, she told the male that he could not get on the bus several times, but the defendant ignored her and he got on the bus anyway without attempting to pay the fare. And so the defendant sat down on the bus, like toward the front of the bus, and he started cursing and talking loud on the bus. And then he started to put his shoes and clothes on. And then as he was about to exit the bus, he spat at the bus driver, Miss Carter. Detective Barden spoke with Miss Carter, and she confirmed the events that the detective saw on the video. And he also discovered that the defendant has an active long suspension from MARTA, which is set to expire March 17th of next year, 2024. For these reasons, the state's recommendation is a $1,500 surety bond, a BHET, and to stay away from the incident location, 713 West Peachtree Street, as well as to comply with all MARTA suspensions and no alcohol, drugs, or weapons while out on bond.
Good afternoon, Ms. King.
Yes, Your Honor. Mr. Simpson is 30 years old, and Your Honor, he was born in Washington, D.C. However, he has been here in Georgia for about last 8 years. He has a job at Peace Center as a janitor, and yet his income is not high enough. So he is qualified for public defender services. He graduated from high school successfully, and also we sent out social worker service. Our social worker met him in person at the jail before this hearing, and she recommended that he does not need any BHET nor MHET at this point. He's competent and he is able to understand what's going on. We would like to request for a signature on bond. And yet, if Your Honor is not inclined to give him a signature on bond, there is already $1,000 good bond in place, and we would like to actually keep it into half of it. Total is $2,000. So 500 multiplied by 2, 1,000 for total 2 charges. Thank you.
I only have one charge.
Oh, I also have a simple assault.
The simple
A
assault,
criminal trespass.
we NOD'd the simple assault this morning.
Oh, that's good. Thank you, NOD. All right.
Okay, so it's just the criminal trespass. So that's going to be a $500 surety bond. Stay away from the 713 West Peachtree Street. Comply with all MARTA suspensions, and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond.
Thank you.
Okay, good luck to you, Mr. Simpson.
Judge Morrow,
Yeah.
you said it was a good bond, 500 good bond?
Yes,
Okay, thanks.
and Madam Interpreter's on the line with us now also.
Okay,
Yes.
thank you.
Uh-huh.
Norris, you're gonna. Position 10, Shufford.
Good afternoon, Mr. Shepard. I'm Judge Eric Morrow. This is the State Court Expedited Accusation calendar that we're conducting by video. Do you agree to have your case heard by video?
Yes, sir, and good afternoon as well.
Good afternoon, thank you. Mr. Shepard, you've been charged in case 23 CR 003649J with simple assault, family violence, 2 counts. Is there a history, Mr. Howard?
I got first arrest.
Ms. Bickerstaff?
Yes, so this incident occurred yesterday at 1211 Renaissance Way. And this is where the defendant and Miss Jada White were arguing over rent money. The two live together. They've been living together for the past 3 years. And Miss White went into the bathroom to get ready to take a shower. And that's when the defendant invaded her personal space. And she tried to create some distance between them by putting her arm out. But the defendant slapped her arm out of the way, and then he grabbed her by the shirt and pushed her into the shower while the water was running. And then the defendant tried to get him off of her, and then he spit in her face. Our victim witness advocate was able to speak to Miss White today. She let us know that they live together, and she confirmed the events in the warrant. She also stated that she is very distraught from this incident and that nothing like this has occurred between them before. But she did let us know that right now she is in fear of the defendant and that she does not want any contact, nor does she want him to return to the residence. For these reasons, the state's recommendation is a $3,000 surety bond, $1,500 for each charge, 1-day anger awareness course, no further contact with Miss White, and to stay away from the 1211 Renaissance Way address, as well as no alcohol, drugs, or weapons while out on bond. We're also asking for a one-time police escort for his belongings. And if Miss White is on a Zoom call, I would like to sound for her.
I see Ms. White is with us. Ms. White, this is your opportunity to address the court if you choose to. You certainly don't have to, but if you choose to, I'll need for you to activate your camera, unmute yourself, and I'll have to swear you in. Can you hear me, Ms. White?
Yes, I can.
Okay, can you raise your right hand for me? Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give before this court will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, you can put your hand down. Thank you, ma'am. What would you like to tell the court?
I would like to just definitely highlight a statement that the prosecutor pointed out. This has never happened between me and Anthony before. And I just honestly, I really don't have, I had the words in my head that I wanted to say for what happened, but I truly am distraught. I was angry at him during the altercation, and I was angry at myself as well, because I do play a part in arguing with him. But for it to go that far, it obviously means that we need to stay away from each other. But since it kind of don't feel right, since the apartment is in his name, I could find somewhere else to go. Because like I said, it don't feel right. And that's what caused the argument in the first place. And I just don't want any further confrontation, and I don't want it to spill over into our families, because he has people who care about him, and so do I. And I'm pretty sure that there's a certain amount of anger and confusion on both sides. And like I said, I want to stay away from any further aggravation to the situation. So if there's any way that I can just go and he can stay at the apartment, I'm willing to do that.
Okay. Ms. White, I agree with you. I'm not going to have you all have any further contact. How long do you think it's going to take for you, given that you have agreed that you will leave the apartment, how much time do you think you'll need to find yourself another place to live? And I just understand that that's not required, but since you have brought it to the court's attention as something that you want to do, then I will respect your request if that's what you'll have me do.
Yeah, honestly, I don't have a time frame because while we were arguing about that, I received documentation on the apartment that he needs to be made aware of, and the way it's looking, no one's about to live there. So I honestly don't even have a time frame.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Ms. White. Yes, good afternoon, Ms. McLeod.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. My client is 34 years old. He is gainfully employed. As pretrial has noted, this is his first arrest. And he tells me, Your Honor, that he was the one who called the police because he needed some assistance. He was having some problems with the alleged victim, and he needed help from the police. He was shocked that he got arrested. He still does not understand how that could happen when he was the one who called for help. That being said, Your Honor, I would ask the court to give my client a signature bond so he can get out of jail and get back to his job. He doesn't have a problem with no further contact with the alleged victim, Your Honor. As she stated herself, this apartment is in his name, and it is his apartment that he has lived at for several years. He tells me they just actually started living together a few months ago. I would like my client to be able to go back there, Your Honor, but if there needs to be a grace period or something, I guess my client can find somewhere else to go, but his preference would be to be able to go back to his home. Nothing further, Your Honor.
Further, Ms. Bickerstaff?
Your Honor, I guess after hearing Ms. White speak, if I think that the defendant can go back to his apartment after Ms. White finds somewhere else to stay, to live, and that's done with the police escort just to make sure that she's gone, to make sure she's safe and she's comfortable, and they have no contact with each other.
Okay. So for
Mr. Shufford, please do not speak. I am your attorney. If you have a question, give me a call.
Okay, it's going to be a $1,500 signature bond for each charge, which makes for a total of a $3,000 signature bond through pretrial per the judge. 1 day anger awareness, no further contact with Ms. White. At this time, stay away from the Renaissance Way address. He can go back to that address on one occasion with law enforcement to retrieve any belongings that he might have there. If Ms. White notifies the solicitor's office that she has moved and no longer resides there, then this bond can be modified, but it can only be modified if Ms. White contacts the victim witness or the staff to let you all know that she's no longer there. No drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond. And let me make sure that I let you know, Mr. Shufford, and you also, Ms. White, what no contact means. No contact means absolutely no contact. No phone contact, no personal contact, no social media contact, no internet contact, no contact whatsoever until this matter is resolved. All right, good luck to you both.
Thank you, Your Honor.
You're welcome.
Mr. Shufford, when you get out, you can give me a call if you have any questions.
Still here?
Oh, you're not muted.
Yes, ma'am, and thank you, Your Honor.
You're welcome, sir. Who do we need to go into? I take it that in courtroom 3, that's the person that needs the interpreter?
That's correct, Your Honor. I have 2 of them.
Okay, so we can go ahead and put Ms. Kim and Ms. Chancey in courtroom 3 into a breakout room. And are both these your clients, Ms. Kim?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, so you can handle them both while you're there.
Yes.
Who do we have?
Position number 9, Moss.
Good afternoon, Mr. Moss. I'm Judge Eric Morrow. This is the State Court Expedited Accusation calendar that we're conducting by video. Do you agree to have your case heard by video?
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. Mr. Moss, you've been charged in case 23 CR 003645D with fare evasion, willful obstruction of a law enforcement officer, and criminal trespass. Your history, Mr. Howard?
15 total. Last arrest was in October, theft by taking. On probation in the cab for theft by taking. 2022 probation, failure to appear, trespass, shoplifting conviction. 2020 robbery, trespass, obstruction. 2018 probation, shoplifting conviction. 2017 shoplifting conviction. That's it.
Ms. Bickerstaff?
Yes, Your Honor. So this incident occurred yesterday at the Garrett MARTA station at 235 Peachtree Street. And this is where the defendant entered the station without paying the fare amount of $2.50. The defendant did admit to doing this because he didn't have any money at the time. And so when officers approached him, he tried to run off, but he was caught. The defendant currently has an active MARTA suspension that is due to expire November 1st of this year. The state's recommendation for bond is a $1,500 signature bond through pretrial services, $500 per count, and to stay away from 235 Peachtree Street, as well as no alcohol, drugs, or weapons while out on bond.
Any objection to any of that, Ms. Wills?
No, Your Honor.
Okay. $1,500 signature bond, $500 per charge through pretrial. Stay away from MARTA, Peachtree Street. Abide by any active suspensions. No drugs, alcohol, weapons while out on bond.
Hey, this would be per judge or state or whoever.
Per judge. Thank you, Mr. Howard. Good luck to you, Mr. Moss.
Thank you, Your Honor.
You're welcome.
All right, Judge, you said that was a 1,500 SOB through pretrial, correct?
Yes.
Okay, next we have positions 1 and 2, Mr. Aaron, that's Ms. McLeod's case.
Okay. Good afternoon, Mr. Aaron. I'm Judge Eric Morrow. This is the State Court Expedited Accusation calendar that we're conducting by video. Do you agree to have your case heard by video?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Mr. Aaron, you've been charged in case 23 CR 003650G with giving false information to law enforcement, and in case 23 CR 003651G with battery family violence. Is there a history, Mr. Howard?
38 total. Last arrest was 2021 for battery DV. That's open. 21 CR 003106G. 2017 probation and giving false name, no low. 2014 probation and parole violation. 09 shoplifting conviction. That's it.
Mr. Jones?
Yes, Your Honor. So it's probably best that I start with position 2, as that leads into position 1. So position 2 on May 17th of 2023, officers responded to 1287 West Ridge Road Southwest and made contact with the victim, Ms. Stacy Murkinson. The victim advised she was just assaulted by her boyfriend, the defendant. It all started over an argument about cheating. The defendant became agitated and struck her several times with a closed fist in the face. In defense, Ms. Murkinson grabbed a pack of steel nails that were nearby and threw it at Mr. Aaron. In return, Mr. Aaron grabbed a spray bottle of bleach and sprayed the victim several times in her face, at which point a witness had to intervene. Fast forward, Your Honor, to 6/7/2023, which is the given false information. On On June 7, 2023, officers were traveling south on West Ridge Road when a female in distress flagged the officer down. The female informed officers that the male who assaulted her, the defendant, a few days ago, was walking down Sandtown Road. Officers made contact with the individual and asked for his ID. The male stated he did not have his ID and gave officers the name of Aaron Mydra, and that's Myndra, and his date of birth. Officers ran the information, and a warrant from Aaron Synard for simple assault was returned. Either been placed in handcuffs, the defendant admitted it was him and he gave officers the wrong name. On count 2, Your Honor, the state's recommendation is going to be a $10,000 cash bond, no further contact with the victim, and to stay away from the address. The reason for this, Your Honor, is that the victim and the defendant are in a relationship. They live together, but they share no children. That case that pretrial mentioned, the 21 CR 3106G, that involved the same victim, Your Honor. And in fact, that was set for a jury trial, and the defendant FTA, which is also a concern as well. This court, Your Honor, actually ordered him on a previous case, the same case, to have no contact and to stay away from them. So clearly, Your Honor, he is not following what it is that the court, better along what it is that you say. The victim stated that the defendant sprayed the chemical in her eye when he sprayed the bleach in her eye, and she had to be transported to the hospital, and that she had to get IVs put in her eyes to flush out the bleach, which is very painful. The victim stated that she does not want contact with the defendant and wants him to stay away from the residence. At the appropriate time, if the court could sound for her. And then on position number 1, Your Honor, we are going to ask for a $3,000 surety bond, no further contact, and to stay away from the victim, Your Honor.
Is that Merkinson?
Yes, Your Honor.
If Ms. Merkinson is on the line and wishes to address the court, now is your opportunity. I see you there, Mr. Aaron. Hold on. We'll get to you. Hold on. Doesn't appear so. Ms. McLeod. Ms. McLeod, are you with us? McLeod.
There she goes.
Can you hear me?
Yes, Your Honor, I can hear you. I apologize.
No, you're fine. I just wanted to make sure that you've heard what Mr. Jones had to say regarding Mr. Aaron, and if you were ready.
I did not, Your Honor, and I apologize for that. I had to take a quick break.
Okay, he's asking on the battery family violence for a $10,000 cash bond, and on the giving false information, a $3,000 good bond. Do you need for him to go through the recitation of the history? I've given apparently Mr. Aaron a bond previously for a battery DV case that's currently open. Mr. Jones, do you have there what the previous bond was amount?
Yes, Your Honor. I do believe that was a $2,500 surety bond. And again, it was with the same exact victim in this particular case.
Okay. Do you need any further information, Ms. McLeod?
No, Your Honor. I spoke with my client earlier. What he explained to me was that the alleged victim and him used to be in a relationship. They're no longer in a relationship. The house that she lives in, he tells me, belongs to his mom. And he had let her live there with her grandchildren. He denies that he actually put his hand on her, because he tells me that he doesn't even live there. He moved out of the house. He just went there recently to get some things. And she asked him for money, and he told her that he did not have any money, and she called the police. He says she's in the habit of calling the police on him, even though relationship has ended and they don't live together anymore. He can't get her out of his house, his mother's house, and she does have, he tells me, 5 grandchildren, Your Honor. He is in no position whatsoever to pay a cash bond, because he tells me that at this moment, because he can't live in that house, he's essentially homeless. So a cash bond for him is no bond whatsoever. And I understand that he does have some history, because we discussed that as well, Your Honor. But if he gets a cash bond of any sort, he will be sitting in jail. Nothing further, Your Honor.
Mr. Jones, do you have that my previous order before you?
I don't have it right here in front of me, but I can pull it up, Your Honor.
My question is going to be, was there a stay away from this West Ridge Road address in
Yes,
that
Your
order?
Yes, Your Honor. It was a stay away and no further contact.
Okay, all right.
And Your Honor, just my apologies for interrupting. Just before you make your ruling, there are actually two separate cases that Your Honor gave $2,500 surety bonds on. One ending in 3106G and the other one ending in 3107G. They were addressed on the same day, June 30th, 2021 by Your Honor, and Your Honor gave a $2,500 surety bond on each with those conditions of stay away and no further contact for a total of $5,000 surety bond.
Okay, and both the charges of battery DV?
They were both family violence battery, both involving Miss Stacy Merkinson.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Mr. Aarons, you have a right to remain silent. I don't think anything that you say is going to be a good idea. You can give me a call later.
And Your Honor, also he did FTA from a jury trial on those two cases that Ms. Falk just mentioned. So we are gravely concerned for his ability to appear to let this case play out.
Okay, so for the battery, it's going to be a $5,000 surety bond. For the false information, it's going to be $1,000 surety bond, making for a total of a $6,000 surety bond. No further contact with Ms. Merkinson. Stay away from the West Ridge Road address. No drugs, alcohol, or weapons. Yes. It's my understanding that the SAP reset date is going to be June 22nd. So if he does not get out of custody, we'll see him back on June 22nd.
Mr. Aaron, I don't think it's a good idea for you to say anything to the court, but if you want to speak on your bond, go ahead.
I do. How would I know when to go to court or anything on these cases if I can't go to the house to get mail or anything? I don't know. That's why I don't know when to go to court or what to do about anything, because I don't have nothing. I have nothing. I'm just on the street. I ain't got no address to go check no mail or nothing like that. I just went back there to get some old clothes I had. That's the only reason I went back there. And the girl asked me for money and attacked me and stuff. But I don't go over there. I don't do that. This is my parents' house. They tell me to stay in there. I have her and her daughter and her grandkids out. It was on the street there and I got put out the shelter. That's why they at my house now. We were friends at first, and then it turned into the girl that attacked me when I don't give no money. You can ask
Mr. Aarons, Mr. Aarons.
Tell y'all this, the girl, they do it all the time to me. I don't go there to my own parents' house. My brothers don't go there. Don't nobody, because they call the police every time somebody, police. And nothing really happened but her wants some money for drugs. That's it.
Okay, Mr. Aaron, I understand your frustration and I understand your.
No, Your Honor, I'm not.
Okay, well, no one has limited your contact with your mother or with your family members.
She got Alzheimer's now. So,
okay, so but no one's limiting you to be able to contact your family members. Ms. McLeod, Ms. Wills, are you on the line with me? Yes, thank you. Ms. Wills, will you assist Ms. McLeod? I know that she can't do it herself, but can we have a social worker visit Mr. Aaron so that we can help him establish some type of, to help him with his housing issue? So Ms. McLeod, would you accept that help from Ms. Wills? If
I
she's
would,
willing
Your
to?
Honor, because he tells me that essentially he lives on the street and he had just
Okay.
gone over there to get something because he doesn't have anywhere else to go because he's been living on the street since the last incident.
Okay.
And I'm not sure what our policy is on that, but Mr. Howard is on the line, so if he could, please.
Yes, Your Honor, we can facilitate the social worker
Okay.
getting that information to him.
Thank you, Mr. Howard. I appreciate it.
Mhm.
All right. Good luck to you, Mr. Aaron.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Judge Morrow, I have a quick announcement.
Okay.
For position 3, bonded out.
Okay.
Position number 8, waive their appearance. Also, position number 12, waive their appearance.
Okay.
And then position number 13, refuse to talk to the attorney, so that's gonna be a reset.
For tomorrow, 6/9.
Yes.
Okay. So while they're still in the breakout room, why don't we go ahead and take the cases where they wait, because that's all you have, is that right?
That is correct, and then, yeah.
Okay. All right, so we'll take the waivers now, and then hopefully Ms. Kim will be back. So let's start with position number 8, Mr. Madsby. Does he have a history, Mr. Howard?
Your Honor, before you do that, may I be excused? My business.
Of course, Ms. McLeod. Have a good day. Thank you.
You too.
This 8th arrest. Last arrest was in 2022. Battery DV, 2019 probation, disorderly conduct conviction.
I'm sorry, I don't mean to interrupt. For Mr. Aaron, positions 1 and 2, Ms. McLeod, is she supposed to call Mr. Aaron or Ms. Wills about?
No, I think that she was going to get in touch with him later. Just let him know that our discussion is that we're going to have a social worker visit with him so that we can see if we can help establish housing for him.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Mr. Howard?
Yeah. 2016 forgery in the 4th. 2011 possession of tools conviction. 2009 sale of marijuana and cocaine with intent conviction. That's it.
Ms. Bickerstaff?
Yes, Your Honor. So this incident occurred May 14th of this year at Dee Dee's Discount Store, and that is addressed at 590 Cascade Avenue. And this is where the store employee, Miss Naisha Jackson, advised that a Black male entered the store and he took socks and underwear, clothing, and electronics without paying for them. She explained to the officers that the defendant was coming in the store multiple times throughout the day while he was, and each time he was taking things. Miss Jackson let officers know that she didn't know the exact dollar amount that was stolen of the items. And then officers were able to identify the defendant by reviewing the surveillance footage. And while doing so, they saw the defendant coming in and back out the store. And that's where he was detained. So for these reasons, the state's recommendation is a $3,000 signature bond through pretrial services and anti-theft course, and to stay away from Dee Dee's Discount at 590 Cascade Avenue, as well as no alcohol, drugs, or weapons.
Okay, it's going to be a $3,000 signature bond through the jail. Stay away from Dee Dee's. No further contact with Miss Jackson, and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond. Does that suit you, Miss Wills?
It does, Your Honor. Thank you.
Okay. Let's see, position number 12, Ms. Smith. Does Ms. Smith have a history, Mr. Howard?
And Ms. Smith is one of Ms. Kim's. I do not have any other clients on the calendar, so the rest are Ms. Kim's.
Oh, okay, so we'll have to come back to that one. Derek Howard, I have to call you by your full name since we.
Well, we have an imposter, Mr. Howard. So,
I know we had that issue this morning.
yes.
What are we
I
doing
did.
with that?
I did meet with Mr. Sharford. We are going to need to continue that to next Thursday. Had a long meeting with him, but we're gonna just put it on next Thursday calendar and address it. Maybe address it at that time.
Okay.
Depending on how things go. Yeah.
Okay, and I know that Mr. That there was a. Okay, that's fine. We'll place that on next week's calendar.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you, Judge.
You're welcome.
He's the elder Howard. I'm the younger.
Okay, we'll be in recess until Ms. Kim returns.
Well, actually, Your Honor, while we're waiting, I could introduce you to our new
Oh.
attorneys.
Very, very good. Thank you, Ms. Falk.
So if everybody could turn on your camera, who is a new attorney today working with our team, that would be great. We have Ashley Stafford, who is here with our team. She is one of our new attorneys, as well as Miss Wenda James, John Eggers, Grace Chung, and Jordan Robinson. And Ms. Chung and Mr. Robinson are also working as interns under the Third Year Practice Act, but they will all be working with me. Whereas Ms. James, Ms. Stafford, and Mr. Eggers are going to be attorneys working their way through jail team and then moving on to trial line.
Okay, well, very good. I'm very happy to have you all here with us. We are grateful for your help. If you have any questions or concerns, please let us know, and I look forward to working with you going forward. Have you all met Mr. Howard and
Nice to meet you all.
And Ms. Wills, who are also with the Public Defender's Office.
Nice to meet you all.
I am often in G33, so if you ever want to drop by and say hello in person, I'll be happy to have you there also. So we've got jury trials going on there. I do next week, so if you want to pop in and say hi, please do. Okay, nice to meet you all.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Falk. I appreciate that.
Not a problem, Your Honor.
We will be in recess until Ms. Kim returns.
Oh, I didn't have my camera up. That was the whole problem.
Okay, let's see, are we ready to proceed in courtroom 3?
Yes, Your Honor. I don't have the position numbers, but this
Okay.
is Mr. Losa. Renee Losa.
Oh, yeah. Okay, thank you. Yes, Ms. Chancey, if you'll raise your right hand for me.
Yes.
Do you swear affirm to translate from English to Spanish to English to the best of your ability?
Yes, I do, sir.
Thank you. Good afternoon, Mr. Flores Loza. I'm Judge Eric Morrow. This is the State Court Expedited Accusation calendar that we're conducting by video. Do you agree to have your case heard by video?
Buenas tardes, señor Loza. Yo soy el juez Morrow y esta es la audiencia de casos estatales de trámite rápido y la estamos conduciendo a distancia. ¿Está de acuerdo que continuemos su sesión de esta manera?
Sí.
Yes.
You have been charged with driving under the influence of alcohol, less safe, improper erratic lane change, and driving without a valid license.
Usted ha sido acusado con los cargos siguientes: manejar incapacitado por los efectos del alcohol, manejar incorrectamente al cambiar de carril y por manejar sin licencia.
Is there a history, Mr. Howard?
Hay antecedentes, señor Howard.
I got first arrest.
Este es el primer arresto.
Mr. Jones?
Señor Jones.
Yes, Your Honor. I'm sorry. I have him with some different arrests and even some open cases.
Yo lo tengo aquí con otro tipo de arresto, situación de arresto y casos abiertos, pendientes.
In 2011, a willful instruction of law enforcement officer.
En el 2011, un caso de interferencia con la autoridad.
In 2022, a simple battery family violence.
Y en el 2022, un caso de golpes y lesiones, violencia familiar.
Criminal trespass family violence.
Y
And
también, I'm sorry.
And cruelty to children as well. Those are open cases.
El caso que también está abierto es por crueldad ante menores y un caso de allanamiento de morada.
And then there's a DUI conviction from 2006.
Hay una sentencia de por manejar bajo los efectos del alcohol en el 2006.
Okay, this incident took place on June the 7th of 2023.
Este caso ocurrió el 6 de junio del 2023.
Officers observed a black Cadillac Escalade failing to operate the vehicle in one lane.
Los oficiales observaron un Escalade negro y, o sea, no manteniéndose dentro del carril.
The accused crossed over into oncoming traffic.
Y el acusado se cruzó al otro carril opuesto en contra de la mano en la que iba.
Officers then proceeded to pull the accused over.
Entonces los oficiales detuvieron al acusado.
While pulling the accused over, he ran over the curve.
Y cuando él, al tratar de detenerlo, él se subió al cordón.
Slammed the vehicle into park, causing it to jerk.
I'm sorry, could the interpreter have a repetition? Causing the vehicle?
To jerk.
Oh, okay. Lo que hizo que el auto empezara a detenerse impetuosamente.
Officer observed the accused with red, watery eyes.
Y el oficial observó que el acusado tenía los ojos cristalinos vidriosos y enrojecidos.
Slurred speech and at times stumbling.
Balbuceaba y también no podía mantener el equilibrio.
And smelled alcohol coming from his breath.
Y él olía con un aliento alcohol.
The accused advised officers he did not have a license.
Y el acusado le dijo a los oficiales que no tenía licencia.
For those reasons, the state's bond recommendation is.
Por eso, estas razones, la recomendación de la fiscalía es la siguiente.
A $6,000 surety bond to be broken down as follows.
Una multa bajo garantía de $6,000 que sea dividida de la manera siguiente.
DUI less safe, $4,500.
Una fianza de $4,500 por el cargo por manejar incapacitado por los efectos del alcohol.
The improper lane change, $1,000.
$1,000 por el cambio incorrecto de carril.
Driving without a valid license, $500.
Y $500 por manejar sin licencia.
Alcohol, drug evaluation and treatment.
Se requiere que se someta a una evaluación y tratamiento de alcohol y drogas
and no alcohol, drugs, or weapon while on bond.
y que quede prohibido el uso de drogas, alcohol y armas mientras esté bajo fianza.
Ms. Kim?
Yes, Your Honor, I would like to verify with my client about his previous DUI charge, 2006. Would you please ask him if he ever had that?
Quisiera confirmar con mi cliente acerca de la sentencia o convicción del año 2006. ¿Ocurrió eso el 2006? He's muted. ¿Ocurrió eso en el 2006?
Oh, sí, pero pagué todo, hice mis clases, fui a probatoria, cumplí con todos.
Oh, yes, but I comply with everything. I pay for my classes, with my probation.
Was it on 2006?
¿Fue en el 2006? Yes.
Does he have open case for simple battery?
Ms. Kim, I don't know if you want to
Yes.
do this on the record. I'm happy to let you
Okay.
speak with your client,
Sure.
but
Okay. Well, because I didn't think that he had any criminal history, but he
but
has a
I
job
mean,
right
if you
now.
want to, if you want to verify it with him, like I said, I'm happy to let you do that, but I don't know if it's in his best interest for you to be doing that in front of the solicitor here.
Correct. You're right, Your Honor. Can I please, would you please, can I have a one minute with him just to verify?
Okay, we can place courtroom 3 and Ms. Chancey and Ms. Kim back into the breakout room, please.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for your patience, Your Honor. Mr. Flores Loza is 37 years old.
El señor Loza tiene 37 años.
And he has been here in Georgia for about 17 years.
Él ha estado aquí en Georgia por más o menos 17 años.
He works as a cook at the restaurant for the last 17 years.
Y ha trabajado durante 17 años como cocinero en un restaurante.
And he will not be qualified for public defender's services, Your Honor.
Y él no cumple los requisitos para recibir los beneficios del Departamento de Abogados Públicos.
And he's a sole provider for 4 minor children.
Él es el único proveedor financiero para 4 niños menores.
And there is already $5,500 good bond set.
Hay una fianza de 5,500 ya establecida.
We would like to ask for a lower bond of $2,000.
Quisiéramos pedirle que reduzca esa fianza a $2,000.
That's it, Your Honor.
Eso es todo, su señoría.
Why charge a $2,000 surety bond for the improper lane change, a $500 surety bond for the driving without a valid license, a $500 surety bond, makes for a total of a $3,000 surety bond.
Impongo una fianza de $2,000 por el cargo de manejar incapacitado por los efectos del alcohol, $500 por manejar de manera incorrecta en un carril y $500 por manejar sin licencia, lo que da un total de una fianza de $3,000.
No drugs, alcohol, weapons while out on bond, and no driving without a valid license.
Queda prohibido el uso de drogas, alcohol y armas mientras esté libre bajo fianza y no puede manejar sin licencia.
Thanks, Your Honor.
Gracias,
Good luck.
señoría. Buena
Good luck to you,
suerte,
sir.
señor.
Your Honor, we got position number 4, Mr. Martin Alvarez.
El señor Álvarez.
Good afternoon, Mr. Alvarez. I'm Judge Eric Morrow. This is the State Court Expedited Accusation calendar that we're conducting by video. Do you agree to have your case heard by video?
Buenas tardes, señor Álvarez. Soy el juez Morrow y estamos conduciendo la audiencia de casos estatales de trámite rápido a distancia. ¿Está de acuerdo con que continuemos su caso de esta manera?
Sí.
Yes.
You have been charged with improper erratic lane change, expired or no license on person, and DUI less safe.
Señor, usted tiene los siguientes cargos. Manejar de manera incorrecta o errática al cambiar del carril, manejar incapacitado por los efectos del alcohol y manejar sin licencia.
Is there a history, Mr. Howard?
¿Hay antecedentes, señor Howard?
Third arrest, he was arrested twice in 2021. Driving
Este es-
without a valid license conviction.
Él tiene 3 arrestos anteriores en el 2022 por manejar sin licencia, es una de las convicciones.
Mr. Jones?
Yes, Your Honor. On June 7th of 2023, officers observed the defendant failed to maintain lane.
Señoría, el 7 de junio del 2023 los oficiales observaron que el acusado no manejaba sin poder mantenerse dentro del carril.
After witnessing the violation, officers pulled the defendant over.
Después de observar esta infracción, los policías detuvieron al acusado.
Immediately, officers noticed the defendant's eyes were red and watery.
Inmediatamente los oficiales notaron que sus ojos estaban vidriosos y enrojecidos.
His speech was slurred and slowed.
Y también él balbuceaba y hablaba despacio.
And detected an odor of alcohol beverage on or about his breath.
Y también olieron su aliento con al alcohol.
The state's bond recommendation is going to be a $5,000 surety bond,
La recomendación de la fiscalía es una sentencia con una fianza de $5,000 bajo garantía,
$3,000 on the DUI less safe,
$3,000 por el cargo de manejar incapacitado por el alcohol
and $1,000 on each additional count.
y $1,000 de fianza para cada uno de los cargos adicionales.
No alcohol, drugs, or weapons,
Queda prohibido el uso de drogas, alcohol y armas,
and no driving unless he obtains a valid driver's license.
y queda prohibido el manejar a no ser que obtenga una licencia válida.
Yes, Your Honor. Mr. Alvarez is 39 years old.
El señor Álvarez tiene 39 años de edad.
And he's been here in Georgia for 22 years.
Y ha vivido en Georgia durante 22 años.
He graduated from high school in Mexico.
Él se graduó de la escuela secundaria en México.
And he has been working as a remodeling construction worker for
Y él,
last years.
I'm sorry. Y él ha estado trabajando como un trabajador en la construcción de remodelación durante los últimos 20 años.
He's not going to be qualified for public defender services.
Él no cumple los requisitos para recibir los beneficios de la Oficina de Abogados Públicos.
And Your Honor, we would like to request for a lower surety bond of $1,000 since he had no DUI history.
Y queremos solicitarle que rebaje su fianza, dado a que él no tiene antecedentes con ningún cargo de manejar o relacionado con el manejar bajo los efectos del alcohol.
No further.
Nada
Nothing
más,
further, Your Honor.
señoría.
DUI less safe, $1,000 surety bond for the expired license, $500 surety bond for the improper erratic lane change, $500 surety bond makes for a total of a $2,000 surety bond.
La fianza se establece a $2,000, van a ser $1,000 por manejar bajo los efectos del alcohol, por manejar de manera incorrecta y errática al cambiar de carril son $500 y por manejar sin licencia son $500, trayendo a un total de fianza bajo garantía de $2,000.
No drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond, and no driving without a valid license.
Queda prohibido el uso de drogas, alcohol y armas mientras esté bajo fianza y también queda prohibido el manejar un vehículo a no ser que tenga licencia.
Good luck to you, sir.
Buena suerte, señor.
Gracias.
Thank you.
And as always, Ms. Chancey, thank you very much. We appreciate your
You're
assistance.
very
this
welcome,
afternoon.
sir. My pleasure. Have a good day.
Thank you. You too. We'll see you next time.
All right, Judge.
All right, see you all next time. Thank you.
All right.
We have one waiver, I believe, that we still need to take up.
Okay.
And Ms. Kim, I believe that that's your case, position number 12.
Yes, Your Honor.
Does Ms. Smith have a history?
Third arrest, 2016, failure to appear. Before that was 1998.
Yes, Ms. Bickerstaff?
Yes, so this incident occurred yesterday on Dogwood Drive in Hapeville, Georgia. And this is where the officers arrived to this area in response to a disturbance. And so when they made contact with the defendant, she refused to get out of a taxi and they noted that she appeared to be extremely intoxicated and was behaving very belligerently. And when officers detained the defendant, and when she was placed in the police cruiser, she spat on the officer's leg, and then she continued to spit at the officer. The state's recommendation for these reasons is a $2,500 surety bond, $2,000 for the simple battery, and $500 for the public drunk, and an ADET, as well as no alcohol, drugs, or weapons while out on bond.
Ms. Kim?
Yes, Your Honor. Ms. Smith is 70 years old, Your Honor, and she's been here in Georgia for all her life. She's retired and she's qualified for public defender services. So we will be continuously helping her. Your Honor, she has a solid residency and also family members who can help her. It's just exceptional time that this happened. We would like to request for a signature on bond so she can return home. Thank you.
Okay, for the simple battery, a $2,500 signature bond through pretrial per the judge. For the public drunk, a $500 signature bond through pretrial per the judge, which makes for a total of a $3,000 signature bond through pretrial per the judge. No drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond. Okay.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Welcome. I believe that completes the 2 o'clock calendar. Let's see. We
Your
can go
Honor,
over
I just wanted to verify about Mr. Truitt, position number 13. Was it medical reset or was it handled as a per se?
No, it's reset for tomorrow.
Sure.
I believe they were having some issues with him today.
Yes, I believe he has a medical issue.
Okay.
Thank
So
you.
he's reset for tomorrow. Yes, Ms. Champion.
Position number 1 is $1,000 good bond reset SAP 622. Position number 2 is the $5,000 good bond reset SAP 622. Position number 3, defendant was released, reset further notice. Position number 4 is going to be a total of a $2,000 good bond reset SAP 622. Position number 5 is a total of a $2,000 sign no bond through the jail. This case will be reset to the SAP 622 for the probation hold of the defendant. Position number 6 is a $5,000 good bond reset SAP 622. Position number 7 is a total of a $3,000 good bond reset SAP 622. Position number 8 is a $3,000 sign no bond through the jail reset for the notice. Position number 9 is a $1,500 pretrial bond total per judge reset for the notice. Position number 10 is a total of a $3,000 pretrial bond per judge reset for the notice. Position number 11 is a $500 good bond reset SAP 622. Position number 12 is a total of a $3,000 pretrial bond per judge reset for the notice. And position 13 will be reset to the C on tomorrow, 6/9. Any questions?
Okay. You all have a good rest of your afternoon. I'll see you next time.
Judge, I did send those orders to Ms. Champion just now. I'm assuming I should send them to you, Ms. Champion, from this morning. Some bond orders for the judge's signature. I sent them to Katrina as well, but
I sent them over to the judge, and I'll give them to Ms. Lewis to.
Okay,
process.
I did copy her as well, but I didn't know who.
Okay, I send them to the judge for signature, then I give
Okay.
them to Ms. Lewis to process.
All right, thank you.
Okay. Thank you all. We'll see you next time.
Good afternoon.